This is a recap for Wednesday, September 15th. So today we learned about a fourth way that we could simplify fractions, and that is through prime factorization. So here's the problems that we did, and I'll do a few more here on top of this. So in case you're wanting to catch up and you want an example of this, here it is. First of all, before we actually get started with this, let's look at prime numbers. So prime numbers are, sometimes people use 1, but in this case it's not 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. These are all numbers that cannot be divided by any other number other than itself and 1. For example, 7 cannot be divided by 6 or 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. 17 can't be divided by any of these numbers below it evenly. There's always a leftover. So those are called prime numbers. So we can use prime factorization in the following way. We can simplify, for example, 12/18. 12/18, if we can find the prime factorization. So 2 times 2 times 3, those are all the prime numbers that multiply together to get equal 12. And then 2 times 3 times 3. And then we can, what I call pre-divide. Like we can divide before we even have to divide. Because what we'll do, let's turn this red, is we'll just not multiply it by 2. So anything that's in both lists, we just divide it out. And whatever's left over, then that becomes our simplified fraction. So this is equal to 2/3. Sometimes when we use this method, we end up like this. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 32 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And let's see. And if we cancel, what happens is I cancel that 2, those pair of 2's, and we end up with what seems like nothing. We can always multiply it by 1. So this is equal to 1, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So we'll do one more example, maybe 24/36. We want to simplify that. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And this is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. If you're not sure what the prime factorization is, for example, 24, you could just do this, 24, and then just start making multiplication problems. 2 times 12, and when you get 2 times 6, 2 prime numbers, then you stop. That's 2 times 3. So that's where I got 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So then we can cancel those 2's, those 2's, those 3's, and this simplifies to 2/3. So 12/18 is the same fraction, equivalent fraction as 24/36, because we can multiply that by 2, multiply that by 2, 12 times 2 is 24, 18 times 2 is 36. We also talked about having a place to document our thinking. For example, there was a problem, let's go like this. There was a problem, I'm going to split this into 2. Let's say that this was the problem on, let's say, quizzes. So we've got this problem where 2 out of 6 are shaded. And many people missed this. The answer was, there's multiple choice, and one of the choices was 1/3, and about 49% got it right, so 51% missed this. And we talked about having a third place, like your notes or another document on your computer that is not Quizzes. The best choice is paper. The best choice is just paper where you can write something down and think about it. That's a person thinking about it. And they can think about it. It's not in their head and it's not on the computer. It is in a third spot where we can see it. And it's important that we start to do that with some of our multi-step questions. In fact, here's what we're going to do before we wrap up this recap. And we're going to go here and just show you what we had up on the board. So let me zoom in here. So many 7th grade math problems require a process. So the process has to be written on paper. I put quotes because it could be a computer, but it has to be a separate place. That way we have space to notice and wonder and question and evaluate. And then it just has to be sure, we have to be sure that that is independent from the original problem where we're doing that work. And then we go back. And it's just this process of working, not just thinking of answers in your head. There's nothing wrong with working in your head, thinking in your head, but you've got to get it out onto preferably paper. All right, that is a recap of Wednesday, September 15th.